2024 is the year of the layoff. Layoffs in February hit their highest level for the month since the year 2009. So sad reality is that many Americans are drowning in debt and struggling to pay for necessities. Many folks are living paycheck to paycheck.
Welcome to JEJE Vibe. Hope y'all are doing amazing today.
We are.
Got my queen with me. Things are happening.
Martin Zagwan.
Martin Sagwan. And at a time like this, it's where you now have to start thinking, what is going on?
Guys, no job is stable in 2024. I'm sure you guys heard the news that Nike is laying off a bunch of people. But they aren't alone. A ton of companies right now are laying off hundreds and thousands of employees because they want their stock prices to go up. I don't care if the company you work for is 3 days old or 200 years old. Your job is not stable. Now look, you can go get a job in the government or in higher ed, but when it comes to corporate America, you just need to realize your job is always dispensable.
Intel to lay off over 19,000 people by the end of 2024, reducing their headcount by approximately 15%. This was just released by Video Cards. Today's August 1st, 2024. Earnings just released today for the second quarter for Intel, indicating a loss of $1.6 billion.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram can't sell cars, and now the layoffs are coming. Stellantis, the parent company of those brands, has offered voluntary buyouts to thousands of employees as a cost-cutting measure. They've laid off tons of employees already, and last year they made the offer to 6,400 individuals. The company's stock has been tanking as their dealers haven't been able to sell their inventory.
Here's a top 5 list that you hope your company is not on. I came across the top 15 list, and I'm going to spare you the details. And that is the companies with the most layoffs in 2024 so far. This article, which I'll post, showed the 15, so if you really want to go in and take a look, have at it. But any guesses on who the top 5 are or who the number 1 layoff is? Coming in 5th is Cisco with 4,250. Number 4 is Dell, 6,000. SAP right behind them at 8,000, UPS 12,000 people, and Tesla is your number 1 answer. So if anybody guessed that, congrats. Or if you're part of Tesla, you may have already known that. So again, unfortunately, it's just where we're at with corporate. These layoffs are going to continue to happen. Again, we still have 2 more quarterly earnings reports to come out this year for these companies, and it seems like every time these are happening, another round of layoffs is coming. And again, these aren't even efficiency layoffs. This is just purely cost cutting. So these are going to continue. And if you are still in corporate, please, please, please do explore all your options.
There's about to be another bloodbath in the entertainment industry. The 2024 business cycle is about to enter quarter 3. When it comes to jobs, it is going to be a slasher summer. There are major layoffs expected to be coming over the next few months.
This just dropped. I haven't seen anyone talk about it. Here is the summary. 60% of business execs say they're likely to do layoffs in the second half of this year. Of those companies planning to do layoffs, 44% plan to lay off over 30% of their staff. Companies say the 3 factors leading the layoffs are cost cutting, employee performance, and AI taking over jobs. 934 business leaders were surveyed in this. Of those, 95% had already run layoffs in 2024. If you're at a company that's already run layoffs this year, this is extra applicable.
More layoffs are coming, and this is a list of all the companies just in the last 4 months that have done massive layoffs. Pause if you want to look at every single one. So earlier this week, Tesla was one of the newer ones at 10% of their workforce laid off. Take-Two, the video game company, is planning on laying off 5% of its workforce. Rivian, the electric car company, is doing mass layoffs, and apparently Google is about to announce a new round of layoffs. Oh, by the way, that latest job report that said we added all these jobs, most of them were part-time jobs, not these 6 figures, provide for your family jobs, part-time jobs. When do you guys think this shit is going to end?
The mother of all layoffs has arrived. The term operational efficiency is being recorded in public transcripts from corporate companies at the highest rate ever. It's amazing that anybody on Main Street knows or instinctually feels this, but the people running this country are still trying to crack the case. Makes you wonder.
Companies want you to quit instead of them laying you off so they don't have to pay you severance. This is a very, very common strategy. This is part of the reason why a lot of companies are not embracing remote work, because it's an easy way to get you to quit because you live too far from the office or you don't want to commute to work. So yes, a lot of layoffs this year, and some are silent layoffs and quiet firing, whereas employees are just quitting on their own and the company's benefit. They get to trim down, be more efficient, and don't have to pay severance.
Everybody needs to return to office 4 to 5 days a week.
I think this means Salesforce has a huge round of layoffs coming. At my former company, what they did was they started by enforcing this ridiculous 3-2 policy. And it started off kind of like managers can decide what they're going to do. And then it went from that to, no, this is not required. And it went from that to, we're going to make you input where you're working every day into Workday. And then lo and behold, 3 weeks ago, they hit us with 150 people got laid off. So I feel like the return to office mandates are a good cover to start eliminating people, to get people to either leave on their own, force early retirements and others, but for those that remain and who kind of stick it out, all right, we'll bring the hammer down.
Quiet layoffs, the new trend in 2024 from companies. Well, guess what? We are on to you, like Dell employees right here. I think they all are starting to see that the return to office mandates are actually quiet layoffs. You see, it's easy to see when your company isn't doing well and they want to avoid bad press over a layoff. One of the easiest things to do is to say, we need you back in the office 4 or 5 times a day. And especially if you've hired a lot of remote workers from around the country that would have to relocate to make that possible, you're going to have a decent amount of people quit. And of course, when people quit, it's even better for you as a company because you don't have to announce a layoff, you don't have to pay severance, they just quit. This is the trend of 2024. Layoffs resulting in higher stock prices and quiet layoffs, aka the return to office. We did see this a bit last year. You remember some of those headlines, return to the office or quit? Well, guess what? A lot of people will quit. So I predict more quiet layoffs because for them, it's a win-win. No bad press, no severance pay. What do you think about this?
I thought the layoffs at Google, Microsoft, and even Dell were bad. But then Walmart came along and said, hold my beer, and said, hey, we're going to not only lay off a bunch of folks, we're going to close 3 offices and make you relocate to Bentonville, Arkansas. I believe locations were Dallas, Atlanta, and Toronto. One, would any of you guys actually move to relocate for that job? I mean, what are the guarantees that you're not going to get laid off once you move to Arkansas? And then what the hell are you going to do in Arkansas once you're there? To me, it just seems like this is another cost-cutting move, a way to get around layoffs and severance packages. I'm not sure how many total employees this is going to impact. I couldn't find that in any of the research. If anybody knows, let me know. But I'm curious, would any of you guys actually relocate for a corporate job at this point? The only scenario I could think of is if it was to a location that I wanted to either retire to or spend a lot more time in. I just can't I can't see picking up without some sort of guarantee. And I'm guessing there was no guarantees of, hey, if I move there, you let me go within a year, you pay back and relocate me at your expense. So again, another cost-cutting move happened right before earnings calls, and yeah, the beat goes on. So if you're still in corporate, good luck.
Hot off the press, there was some drama that went down on Walmart's Zoom call where they invited hundreds of employees who thought it was going to be a routine Zoom call, but then the talk veered towards relocation to Arkansas, and there was an outburst on the call where an employee said, "This policy is bullshit." Walmart is mandating that many of their employees, especially those from smaller offices, and remote positions move to corporate hubs, and the policy is intended to enhance collaboration and company culture, but it has sparked significant resistance. You guys heard me talk about this before, the whole return to office for Amazon, for Dell, for Patagonia, everybody that's saying that everybody needs to move to either closer to corporate hubs, and even Salesforce, 4 to 5 days in office. This is sparking some crazy backlash, and so Walmart is the latest employer that has caused a lot of resistance amongst their employee base.
I think Intuit might be taking the trophy when it comes to worst layoffs. Because here's the thing, I work in HR, and to me, layoffs are a complete failure of the business. If you can't figure out a way to restructure that doesn't include laying off thousands of people, you failed somewhere. But not only that, but they did these layoffs with this messaging. Out of the 1,800 people, they said that about 1050 of them did not meet expectations. So now when hiring teams see that somebody left Intuit in July of 2024, they're going to assume that person was cut for being an underachiever. And that's true even for the 750 people who weren't underperforming. And I get it, it's a very tough decision to make. Sometimes layoffs are logistically the only answer, but to then go and market your previous employees like this, it's just cruel and unusual.
I don't think companies and their employees have ever been as out of touch with each other and their expectations as they are right now. And it's a little scary. I think employees really need to watch their back. I saw these articles on my LinkedIn newsfeed today. I'm looking at the first one and the third one. And it's this dichotomy between the two that I think is the problem and is a little frightening. So the second article warned employees to brace for more critical and harsh performance reviews this year, as 40% of HR professionals say that performance management is their top company priority. And this comes after 2023, aka the year of layoffs, was kicked off by massive company CEOs calling it the year of efficiency, of cost cutting, of doing more with less. This of course trickles down to team leaders and managers as pressure to maximize their team's productivity while using as few resources as possible. And then this translates into very rigorous performance evaluations that put many unexpecting people on performance improvement plans that are then used to justify not giving raises or laying people off. And the problem here is that employees have already been going above and beyond for their companies. They've been doing this for decades, and they're learning that this extra effort does not guarantee them advancement or job security.
Signs you're about to get laid off. I got laid off in July of 2023, and here were signs that indicated I was about to get the axe. First and foremost, if you start getting your work reduced, so if you used to manage X amount of projects, but they start handing that work off to other people, or they start taking those projects away from you, usually they won't say, hey, we're gonna lay you off, and so we're gonna take your work. They're gonna say like, oh no, this person wants to learn about this, let's pass on this project to them, or you have a lot on your plate, even though you may not have indicated that you're feeling stressed, let's hand your projects off. So anytime your projects start being handed off, if you start training your replacement, that's a really bad sign that they're basically transitioning you out of your role as well as the company. The second main thing is if it is very difficult to get a hold of your hiring manager, or actually, sorry, if it's really hard to get a hold of your boss or your boss's boss. For example, at my role, for us to greenlight projects, my boss's boss had to approve that. And when I was trying to do a new project, this is right before I got laid off, it was almost impossible to get a hold of him. Every time I tried to schedule a meeting for him to review the project brief, basically what were we building and why were we building it, basically he would keep canceling, he wouldn't respond to it, and eventually, you know, I was reaching out to him and I used my boss to reach out to him, and his excuse is like, yeah, there's just been so much going on. He always has everything going on, right? So obviously it's an excuse. So if you start to sense that your management that you report to or your management's management is pulling back from you, that's not a good sign. That means that they don't really care about your work. That means they're distancing themselves from you. That means basically you don't really have a future at the company. The third thing that you have the signs of a layoff is, and this is more subtle in reading between the lines, but you have to, for the person that basically can decide whether or not you keep your job, you have to get a sense of their sentiment towards your projects. If you feel like they think your projects are useless, not generating revenue, not, you know, moving the business goals, are taking too long, whatever it may be, right? Be careful. Okay, so to really quickly recap, your work is reduced, it's handed off, you're training your replacement, it's hard to reach management, You sense that the management that's responsible for retaining you doesn't like your projects. Those are all really bad signs of you potentially getting the axe.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go.
Wow. Is there any specific reason or any...
Actually, it was a company-wide layoff. The managers, including myself, weren't even told.
Wait, if the managers didn't know how they decide who to lay off?
Sorry, what was that?
No, like if the managers didn't even know, how did they decide who to lay off and who to keep? Because it wouldn't make
But yeah, it was great working with you. And I'll hand it over to HR for the next steps.
Oh.
Hi, this is Cindy from HR. What was your name again?
What?
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My name's Rosie. I'm just joining the call. Nice to meet you. I'm on the HR team.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Thanks for meeting with me and Rosie. We have an important meeting today. We finished our evaluations of 2023 performance. This is where you have not met Cloudflare expectations for performance. We've decided to part ways with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure.
So I started August 25th. I've been on a 3-month ramp, and then it was 3 weeks of December, and then a week of Christmas, and then here we are. I have had the highest activity amongst my team. Since I've started, I have had 3 contracts out, done a really great job managing my deals up until the very end that decided not to close last minute. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense for me in my Cloudflare journey here so far. Also, every single one-on-one I've had with my manager, every conversation I've had with him, he has been giving me nothing but I am doing a great job, I have had great activity, I have really great meetings, I'm picking up the products very quickly, and things have been going really, really well. I make really great relationships with my clients. So I disagree that my performance hasn't been I haven't met performance expectations when I certainly have, just because I haven't closed anything officially.
I hear you.
Also, why are you doing this and not my manager? We've never met, so this seems a little odd that my manager has no idea that this has been happening and the director has no idea that this has been happening. So I'm just definitely confused, and I would love an explanation that makes sense.
100%. Real quick, let me carve out the 2 threads, a ladder of why I'm on this conversation. I'll put that one to the second half, and Rosie might be better to explain the process of who is giving this information, and the prior piece, which is your feedback and notes about your performance. So we add a little color context to that. So just for clarification, you are not being singled out in this. Your peers are also being collectively assessed on performance. This is a collective calibration for Cloudflare. So I just want to clarify that piece. I won't be able to add any kind of specifics on numbers or...
Wait, can you explain for me why Brittany Peach is getting let go?
I won't be able to go into specifics for numbers.
Wait, why though? I just started. I've been working extremely hard. Just because I haven't closed anything that has nothing to do with my performance on a 3-month ramp with just 1 month with 2 major holidays in the middle, I don't think that has anything to do with why I should be let go, if that makes sense. So I really need an answer and an explanation as to why Brittany Peach is getting let go, not why Cloudflare decided to hire too many people and are now actually realizing that they can't afford this many people and they're letting that go. If that's the real answer, I would rather just you tell me that instead of making up some bullshit and telling me that right before I lose my job from someone that I've never met before, if you can respect that.
Yeah, I can totally respect that, and I don't think Dom or myself today is going to give you any clarity or answers that's going to meet the expectations that you're communicating to us, Brittany. So I can't speak to...
So am I getting let go for no reason? If you guys can't give me a reason?
I'm happy to follow up with you separately to give you the data that was calibrated. I'll need to speak with revenue leadership specifically to see if we can get that for you. But Dom and
Can
I
you
do
share
not
that
have
with me
that
now?
in our meeting. I cannot share that with you right now, unfortunately. Yeah, it's understandable how you feel and your frustration. Cannot stress that enough.
I have been working extremely hard. I just knew that this meeting was coming after knowing what's been happening with my peers and how extremely frustrated and upset everyone is. I know you guys must not be able to understand that given in the positions that you are in, and it must be very easy for you to just have these little 10-minute, 15-minute meetings, tell someone that they're fired, completely wreck their whole life, and then that's it with no explanation. That's extremely traumatizing for people, if you can imagine that. And I don't think that this is, it's just very, very shocking. Very, very shocking. I've really given my whole energy and life over the last 4 months to this job, and to be let go for no reason is like a huge slap in the face from a company that I really wanted to believe in.
Can absolutely understand how you feel that way, why you feel that way. And I'll be honest with you, there's nothing that we're going to say in this call in the time that we have that's going to undo the way that you feel right in this moment. And I personally will do everything that I can to give you as much specific information as I can after this call. I can't make any promises. I understand where you're coming from. I can tell you that Dom and I do care. I understand the feeling that you have right now, and I can't change that. So I'll just be honest.
But why can't, you guys have still not given me a reason why I'm being let go. Despite constant positive praise from my manager, great meetings that I'm having, the amount of activity that I have has all been positive. I have not received any negative inclination. I have not been put on a performance improvement plan, nothing. So,
and I cannot speak to what your manager has communicated to you directly.
But that should be the indication
for performance based on your attainment and leading indicators of data. That is the rationale.
But I've been here for only a month after ramping, and that was during a holiday. So I don't understand what those, can you explain what those performance metrics are? Or is that just like a vague term to give to everyone that you're speaking to today?
I'll say that the performance indicators and performance metrics are, well, they are, we're not able to go into specifics, and there's no situation where we will be able to go into
Do you guys even know, like, why, like, who you're talking to each day? Like, every single 10, 15 minutes, do you guys even know who you're talking to? Like, why you're letting these people go when you don't even understand, like, the kind of work and everything that they've put in?
I hear you and what you're saying.
It just doesn't make any sense that you guys have still not been able to give me a reason why I'm being let go.
Just from a process perspective, your questions are valid. This isn't going to be the forum and the situation where we're able to go into the detail that you're looking for.
But then when? If it's not right as I'm getting fired, it's certainly not going to be after when I'm no longer part of the company.
No. So I don't think there's anything we can say in this moment or today, Brittany, that's going to change the way that you feel. And it's understandable. I'm taking notes and feedback, and we'll circle back.
Yeah, I know that friend asked me too, but that's
the meeting. It's not going to change the outcome of the situation today. So it may be best if I do get into more of the specifics of what the next steps are. Because I think it's clear that you have questions that we cannot give answers to. And if you'd be open to it, I'd love to move into what the next steps are so that you're not any further blindsided than you already feel.
Okay.
Thank you, Dom. Okay, and I'm really sorry that you're having this experience and feeling this way.
Let me begin by saying we hoped we wouldn't be in this position again. Yet we are, and we deeply regret the impact this decision may have on you. For that, I am truly very sorry. This decision is not a reflection
on you as individuals. I also want to say you've been tremendous team members, colleagues, and friends to me and so many others. We are here to support you both personally and professionally as you navigate next steps. We will begin deactivating all systems access at this time. At this time, I will end the call.
And that's it. And they turned everything off.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hello. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into this. Angelica, thanks for meeting with us today. I do have some difficult news to share with you. So due to recent restructuring within the recruiting department and just kind of an overall decrease in workload, we're making some significant changes to the organizational structure. So unfortunately, that means that your position has been eliminated as part of these changes. Your last day will be today. And
About to join the Zoom meeting. Wish me luck. Hello?
Hey JC, my name's Jake. I'm with HR. I know we haven't met before, but unfortunately I do have some tough news to share.
Okay, is my manager joining?
Yeah, unfortunately your manager is unable to join, and JC, due to a restructuring, your role has been impacted and we've decided to part ways with you.
I got a random meeting on my calendar. I feel like, and there's a bunch of them on this other lady's calendar. I hope I'm not getting fired. I will die. Someone else is in there. I'm getting fired. Oh my god, I'm getting fired. Hello.
Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I asked, who I think you know, to join us for this call. She's our HR representative. We've got some updates we'd like to share with you this morning.
Okay.
So as you know, we have been working with to help us identify the best way forward for this last period of time. And while we originally believed that we would be integrating with, we've instead determined that it was best for us to refocus the agency to an independent agency, and in doing so, we've initiated a buyback of it. Unfortunately, as you may know, the lack of growth and the decline in our client revenue has negatively impacted our business beyond what we can sustain. And it's forced us to make what are very difficult decisions to eliminate roles within the agency. And this includes the elimination of your role, making today your last day.
Structure. And unfortunately, this has led to the difficult decision of eliminating a few positions. And unfortunately, sorry to tell you, but your role has been affected.
I just got laid off during a 5-minute call with my company, and HR was not present. Mind you, I got this email notification at 3 a.m. on my calendar for 8 a.m. this morning, my time, and it was called Organizational Discussion. And obviously my anxiety got me out of bed at 6 a.m. in the morning because we got an email yesterday that warned us several people would be letting go from the organization. So I hop on this call. The CCO and the VP are present. I've never met them before. They were both hired onto the company 2 months ago. This is the first time that I'm meeting with them or talking with them. HR isn't present, and neither is my manager. So when I asked them where my manager was and why she wasn't on this call, they assumed that my manager was a contractor who works part-time at the company. They didn't even know who my manager was. Like, what? And I've been at this company for 2.5 years, and you don't know who my manager is? And you're the CCO and the VP of the company? Like, what is going on here? And then when I asked, is there a reasoning as to why I'm being let go? No reasoning, obviously. And there are like several people are gonna be laid off as well. It's not only you. And I'm like, okay, why is HR or my manager not on this call? And they proceed to say that they are the upline. They're above my manager in HR. Therefore, this is why they should be telling me this information.
This morning at 8 a.m., I got a last-minute meeting invite titled Business Update.
with my whole team, my manager, my manager's manager, and someone from HR. So I think we're all about to be laid off.
As a result, your position on the web support team will be eliminated effective today, Monday, June 3rd, 2024. Please understand that this is a business decision to eliminate this role and your role specifically, as it reflects the change and the need for this service that Microsoft will be providing.
I am a part of the 2024 layoffs. My company laid me off on Tuesday.
Unfortunately, your role is being impacted by that. You will be laid off effective today.
And while there'll be more on that later, I've decided to join the club and take part in a trend that I've been seeing all over TikTok, which is keeping an Excel sheet of all the jobs I apply to and see how long it takes me to apply to them.
Okay, POV, you're me getting laid off yesterday from like a brand or a company that I've worked with for the last 3 years now. This is how we ended the Zoom call. No hard feelings, queen. Love ya.
I did see some red flags in my company. About 2 months ago, we had a mass layoff, and since then I have picked up on a couple of other indicators that there were going to be more layoffs. I know at the end of the day that the decision has been made, and there's nothing I can do about it, right? And so I know the most important thing right now is to bring back some sense of control, and that's exactly what I have to do. Yeah, I've never been laid off before. I've worked in healthcare for over 16 years. But I'm not the only one going through this, and there are so many in the workforce right now that are feeling this impact. And I think the only thing that we can do at this point is just share exactly what we're feeling and exactly what we're going through, because somebody else is going through the exact same thing.
I am currently not doing too well. I've been unemployed for 3 months now. June will be the 4th month. I've applied for 75 jobs. I know I probably should apply for more. I'll keep applying for more. But my savings are covering my rent, but I don't know how I'm gonna pay for the other bills. I currently just accepted a part-time job at Target, but that's not gonna clear anything. Rent's, like $1,500, and other bills equate to over $2,000. So like literally need about $4,000 a month to live, and I don't have that.
I got laid off from my corporate job that I've had for the last 2 years, and I've had a few days to process it now, so let's talk about it. So I worked as a recruiter, and I was one of many people that got laid off, and it was sad because I really did like my job. Like, I loved my team, I liked what I did day to day, so now I'm kind of in this limbo of what do I do next?
I busted my ass and I was just laid off. These companies do not care about us. They want us to give us a 2-week notice, but yet can just fire us and ruin our lives on the spot any day that they choose. I have a 2-year-old son, no savings, which is my fault, and it doesn't fucking matter. So now I have to go back on the job hunt, and I have to get a work from home job because I have a 2-year-old that I have to take care of. Can't afford daycare. Rent is $2,500 where I live. Now I gotta find out how to pay off my lease early, because there's no way that we could afford to live here. I don't even have a computer. They just locked me out of my computer. I really thought that the culture at my job was great, the best that it's ever been, and for them to just lay me off, not even based off of performance, because my manager just shouted me out today saying I'm doing a great job and then fired me.
At this point, I'm trying to figure out what the future of the workforce is actually supposed to look like. I actually do work for one of the companies that are doing the mass layoffs, and my team is being eliminated, so I am getting laid off. When I first got the news, I wasn't taken aback. Like, as hard as I could have been, maybe, because at the end of the day, like, this is what companies do whenever they're trying to, maintain their budget.
As of this morning, there have been 5,900 layoffs in the video game industry across multiple companies. That is already half the amount of last year's layoffs in a single month. Almost 2,000 people just lost their jobs today. My LinkedIn is on fire. I just see I was affected by the layoffs. I was affected by the layoffs. I was affected by the layoffs. I'm just scrolling because I'm trying to find a fucking job. And I go on LinkedIn every day and try and find something that I even remotely qualify for, because I've been out of a job since October and I'm tired. I'm sick of not making money. And the industry that I was so excited to be a part of when I got my first job on God of War in 2017 is on fire. I hate it here.
Whatever happened to those day in the life working in tech vlogs?
Girl, what you mean? We all getting laid off, boo. Or you're an employee like me who, thank God, I made it through the layoffs, but I'm fucking terrified now, having just seen a 10% of my org cut. And yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and do a happy-go-lucky, what I do in a day in the life of a software engineer. I'm just doing, okay? Because I'm fucking terrified. And this is all personal experience. My company literally earlier this week, like this Tuesday, went through layoffs, 1,500 positions cut, and they were all technology jobs. It's terrifying. And this is my second round of layoffs that I've made it through in the 6 years that I've worked at my company. And it was terrifying the first time. It was terrifying this time. And more, especially as I get older, I just realize how important it is to have multiple streams of income, because I'm not built for this corporate life. Like, it is scary out here. If any of you guys are tech workers that have been affected by the recent layoffs, my heart goes out to you guys. And I'm sure you guys are rock star employees. I'm sure you will find employment very soon. And if you're a tech worker who hasn't been affected by the layoffs, please make sure you're being smart with your money and that you have an emergency fund set up, because one thing's for sure, you definitely don't want to be worrying about money while you're laid off. You just want to be able to focus on finding a new job and finding new opportunities. Don't let the money stress you out either.
I've been laid off twice, and I'm now so paranoid about getting laid off again that my manager just sent a message of like, hey, there's a company-wide meeting. Make sure you all join if you can. And I'm like, oh my God, what if they're announcing layoffs? What if I get laid off a third time?
I work for a tech company that has been around for 20 years and has never done layoffs. It's always been a part of their kind of culture and mission, something they've been able to say. And this morning they announced their first round of layoffs. And I have not been affected yet. As of right now, I'm not getting laid off in this round, but that doesn't mean that I'm not soon. And it just goes to show how job security really just does not exist anymore. Working for a company that has never done layoffs for 20 years does not mean that they're not going to just lay you off tomorrow.
My times. Drop a comment, let us know what you guys think about the video. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and you're welcome to JEJE Vibe.
We're out of here now.
Catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye now.
See you guys.
It's JEJE Vibe. It's JEJE Vibe. It's JEJE Vibe, vibe. It's JEJE Vibe.